That was the video which is driving everyone a bit crazy in the collective West mainstream media of Greece's favorite son, Joe Bidenopoulos, fist bumping with Saudi Arabia's MBS. And we're going to get to that story as well as other news topics in a bit. Right now, I am in an area known as Exarchia in central Athens, Greece. And this area of Athens, Greece is kind of like ground zero for two things. For graffiti, lots of graffiti, but also for Antifa. This is like where Antifa kind of hangs out. So you have to be a bit careful around here, not in the daytime, maybe a little bit more at night. But as you can see around me in this parking lot, you can see lots of graffiti everywhere. Graffiti mixed with street art, to be quite honest, some of it. So, let's talk about the news. Let's go for a walk and talk about the news, what's going on. And the story, of course, that we're going to lead with is Bidenopoulos in Saudi Arabia. As I said, Greece's his favorite son, Joe Bidenopoulos, had a meeting with MBS. And, he was supposedly going to Saudi Arabia to figure out how to solve the oil crunch, the oil crisis, but nothing really got solved. I don't even think they came out with a joint statement. I think that Biden went off on his own and talked to the media, and MBS was just like, all the reporters are just asking me about Khashoggi, so I'm not even going to deal with this stuff. And that was a distraction for the media. It was Khashoggi. And the Washington Post went absolutely ballistic with the fist bump between Bidenopoulos and MBS because they saw it as more intimate than an actual handshake. And they saw it as a signal that Biden had forgiven MBS for allegedly taking out Khashoggi, who I believe was either a full employee, a full reporter for the Washington Post, or he was something like an associate correspondent or reporter for the Washington Post. Just trying to think, which way should I go? That way or that way? Okay, let's go that way. We'll go right around. And so what they did agree on, they didn't agree about anything with regards to increasing output of Saudi oil, to figuring out ways to bring the price of oil down, to bring the price of gas in the U.S. down. They didn't solve anything with that. What they did agree to is a cooperation sometime in the future with regards to green energy, to solar and windmills and renewables and all of these things. In other words, the meeting between Biden and MBS was just a complete farce, completely useless farce. They also agreed to, Saudi Arabia agreed to allow Israeli fighter jets to use Saudi air bases, I believe, something like that. Not a big issue at all, because Saudi Arabia and Israel, they're kind of hidden hush-hush allies to a certain degree. They're not the enemies that a lot of the mainstream media pretend they are. But anyway, that's a different story. What Biden did by going to Saudi Arabia is just kind of humor the American public, in my opinion. They, the powers that be, the green ideologues in the White House and the powers that be, what they did is they sent Bidenopoulos to Saudi Arabia, much like they talk about going to Venezuela or to Iran and trying to figure out ways to bring the price of petrol, gas down. And so they send Bidenopoulos to Saudi Arabia to pretend that he's actually, working hard for the American people to figure out the gas crisis and inflation and all of these things. But the green ideologues, they're just sending him there to humor the public. That's basically all they're doing, because they know that Biden isn't going to really do anything substantive with regards to MBS in Saudi Arabia. They know that he's just not capable of those types of negotiations, and they don't have any plan. The green ideologues in the White House, all of these globalists, they don't have any plan or desire to bring down the price of oil and gas significantly. Maybe they'll bring it down a few cents in order to not have such a huge slaughter in the midterm elections in November. So maybe they'll work on bringing it down a couple of cents here and there. But their goal is the green agenda. Their goal is the green ideology. They're not going to go back to oil, gas, and fossil fuels. Period. So send Biden to Saudi Arabia, have him meet with MBS, humor the public to believe that Biden is actually, working for the people and trying to figure out things. We know he's not going to come to any sort of deal or resolution. And let's continue to push forward with our green agenda, whether the people like it or not. And if they have to suffer, if citizens have to suffer and pay more over the next 10, 20 years, so be it. There is no reverse course with regards to to doing away with fossil fuels and getting everyone on solar, wind, and God knows what else, but and electric cars and Teslas. This is the plan. So it was all smoke and mirrors, this trip with MBS, and we heard the statements from Biden. Nothing agreed on. Nothing is really changing with regards to oil and gas, and the United States and Saudi Arabia. We're going to work on renewables. That was the big announcement. Give me a break. It's a freaking joke, isn't it? The United States and Saudi Arabia are going to partner up to deliver clean energy. My God. Yeah, they're jerking our chain. They're BSing us. They are absolutely BSing us. So that was the meeting between Biden and Saudi Arabia and MBS. And like I said, the Khashoggi thing serves as a very nice distraction because the media, they didn't ask any questions about oil and gas. Nothing. Pretty much nothing. They weren't really that concerned. It was all about Khashoggi. So Khashoggi served as a very nice distraction. These are the tricks and the games they play. Saudi Arabia, they're looking east. They're heading into BRICS. They're looking at China, OPEC plus, Russia. They're moving past their cooperation with the United States and the petrodollar. I'm not saying it's going to happen right away. This is like a 10, 20 year plan, 20-year trajectory, but it's happening, and it's happening a lot faster than any of us thought. Who would have thought that Saudi Arabia would be applying to enter the BRICS? No one would have ever guessed that. So, moving on from Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia, let's talk about the European Union and how they're going after Hungary and they're going after Orban. And it seems like the European Union, they're looking for someone to pick on that they can probably maybe chalk up a couple of W's, a couple of wins, because they got absolutely demolished and they continue to get demolished by Russia. So they pick on someone who's their own size, and that someone completely obliterates the European Union, whether it's the conflict in Ukraine or whether it's the economic war. The EU thought they can take on Russia, and they're just getting absolutely hammered. Even Macron yesterday came out with a statement to the French people telling them that France is going to have to, follow the energy cutbacks along the lines of Germany, i.e. businesses are going to close. They're going to have to cut back on gas and heat and hot water, and consumers are going to have to take cold showers and all of these things. The same things that we've been hearing from Germany. Macron told the French people to buckle up because they're going to have to do pretty much the same things. So the EU is getting absolutely pummeled by Russia across the board. So what do? Well, they have to find someone else to pick on, someone smaller and someone who they have more control over, like maybe an EU member state, I don't know, say Hungary. And so the EU is taking Hungary to court. They're actually like suing Hungary because of the that LGBTQ law that Hungary passed, which is something like you don't have sexual content for you don't promote sexual content in schools or in the media for children under 18, for people under 18 years old. So they're passing that law, and the EU is taking them to court for that because they're saying that it's a human rights issue and a free speech issue. So that's what that's their argument, to take Hungary to court for that LGBT law. And the other thing that they're doing is that they're opening up like investigations with regards to fuel and fuel pricing, because they're saying that Hungary, what Orbán is doing, he's actually subsidizing the fuel costs for local Hungarians. He's actually giving local Hungarians, especially in agriculture and like taxis, I believe, and other types of industries, he's actually subsidizing them so they pay a lower price for petrol, for gas, while non-Hungarians are actually paying more. And the EU is saying that Orbán can't do that. And so they're opening up an investigation there as well. God forbid that Orbán looks after his agriculture sector, and he looks after his own people and tries to relieve the burden of paying a lot for petrol. So the EU is now looking into that. And what else is the EU doing to Hungary? Oh, and another thing that they're doing is that remember when the European Union was, I think it was the fifth or sixth energy sanctions package that they were putting together. I forgot which number it was, but it was the one where they were exploring ways to embargo Russian oil, and they actually wanted to cut off all Russian oil heading into the European Union. I'm going to sit down a bit right here real quick. So they wanted to like cut off all of the Russian oil heading into the European Union, but Hungary, I believe Slovakia, Czech Republic, and I even think Croatia, there were a lot of EU countries that were saying, don't cut off the pipeline oil from the Druzhba pipeline, because we're pretty much 100% reliant on that, especially the countries that are landlocked. That's the only way that we get oil, is from the Druzhba coming in from Russia into Europe. And so if you block that off, we're screwed. And so the European Union created carve-outs for Hungary and other countries, Slovakia and Croatia. They created a bunch of carve-outs so that the Druzhba oil pipeline would not get shut down. And, they voted in the sanctions. All the countries then agreed. The EU countries agreed to the sanctions. They greenlit them, and you had like the fifth or sixth sanctions package go through. Well, now it looks like the EU is walking back those agreements that they made with member states, those carve-outs, because what they're saying is, look, Mr. Orbán, we know that we gave you this carve-out so that we don't cut off the Druzhba pipeline, and we're going to allow you to continue to get oil and gas and whatever other energy needs that you have from Russia, and you'll be able to fill up your storage. But now we're passing a directive where all EU countries that have actually filled up their storage facilities with gas and oil are now going to have to empty them out and share them across the European Union. And so this is really bad news for a country like Hungary, because what they've been doing is they've been, topping up their storage facilities in preparation for winter. And now the EU is coming along and saying, it's great that you got that oil from the Druzhba pipeline, but your storage facilities for winter now are going to have to be shared across the entire European Union. And so you're also going to undergo an energy, oil, gas crisis. So the countries that have taken the right steps and the right approach to fill up their storage facilities and their reserves, and have taken a more neutral position with regards to Russia, and have actually now prepared for the winter, they're now going to get punished by the EU, and they're going to be forced by the European Union to share that oil and gas with other countries that have taken a more bellicose approach towards Russia and have been kind of like, you know what, just cut off all the oil and gas. We don't care, and be damned in the winter. We don't care. We'll make it through the winter. We don't know how, but the first thing we have to do is cut off Russian oil and gas. And well, Hungary's going to have to share their energy reserves with these countries now. EU solidarity. So that kind of sucks for Hungary. So, the EU is really targeting Hungary in a big, big way now. And, they're looking for some sort of win, aren't they? Go after Hungary because you can go after them. Because what you've had with Russia is you've had your ass handed to you by Russia. And so let's start not focusing so much on battling Russia, and let's go after Orban and Hungary. But Orban, he's fighting back. He came out with a statement just yesterday, and let me pull up that statement. Actually, let me try to find that statement, because what he said was really, really good. He was saying stuff like China is winning in all of this sanctions war. China is winning. The U.S. is not losing, but the EU is just getting completely demolished. And he is exactly right. He's absolutely right. And let me find that quote. Here we are. Yeah, China is winning, America is not losing, and Europe is suffering, Orban said. Orban also said that European politics shot itself in the lung and not in the foot. So it's suffocating now due to energy shortages. There will be no gas in some countries, while other countries will have gas, but it will be very expensive. And countries like Hungary are going to be forced to share that gas with the countries that have no gas in the EU. There is no sovereignty in the European Union, none at all. So those were the statements coming out of Orban, and he's exactly right. China is winning. America is, in a way, they're getting what they want. NATO, America, the neocons, the war hawks, they're destroying Europe. And if you're like a neocon, and say you're like a Kissinger type, a realist, a realpolitik neocon, and you sit there and you take a look at the world and you say, you know what, a multipolar world is coming. There's really not much we can do about it. Maybe we can delay it, but it's coming. There's no stopping it. What do? You say, you know what, I need to build spheres of influence. Well, one of those spheres of influence that you want to build and you want to hold on to, of course, is Europe. But you have a problem. Europe is very dependent on Russia, and it's closer to Russia. It's geographically located closer to Russia. So what you have to do is you have to first move Europe away from Russia. They've done that, sever those ties and those links. And then you have to make sure that the EU, that Europe, is completely subservient to you. In other words, they're going to be your sphere of influence 100%. For the US, for the American citizen, or for the taxpayer, it kind of means that you're on the hook to take care of Europe indefinitely, right? It's going to come out of your pocket. But for the neocons and people like Kissinger and these types, a weaker Europe, a completely bankrupt Europe, a deindustrialized Germany, well, they're going to be completely dependent on the United States. They're going to be your satellite, your puppet, 100%. That's what they're doing with Europe, and it's kind of working, and that's what Orban is hinting at. Orban is kind of saying, in my opinion, he's saying, you know what, China is going to be the multipolar, it's going to signal the rise of a multipolar world, China and Russia. America, well, you're gonna have Europe. Europe is going to be your satellite. But what does Europe get out of all of this? Bankruptcy, misery. That's what they get. they're going to be completely dependent on the United States, completely. The NATO mantra: Russia out, keep Germany down, America in. That's the exact philosophy that they're taking with Europe, and the EU leaders are going along with it. They know what's up. They're going along with it because they've been convinced, let's say, to go along with it. That is why they're destroying their own countries. So that's the news about Orban and the EU. And it's really interesting. The European Commission actually is now signaling that they're going to even ease up on some sanctions in the next package. So in the seventh package, they're going to focus in on gold, which is toothless and meaningless. They're going to, sanction Russian gold. It means nothing. But one thing that they are going to do is they're going to ease up on the agricultural and the food sanctions that they've placed on Russia. The EU is losing. Europe is losing in a big way towards Russia. That's why they're going after Orban. They're losing big to Russia, and they need to go after someone. So they're going to target Hungary, and they're going to target Orban. Anyway, let's talk about what's going on in Ukraine now. And where do I want to begin? How about Shoigu? Shoigu actually made an appearance in the Donbass, and he gave the order to the military in Donbass that they need to go after the Ukraine forces that are shelling Donetsk. So he's given the green light to that. And sure enough, we have been seeing a big uptick in Russian military activity towards the Ukraine military that has been shelling Donetsk. And this is like in the areas of Divka. I think I'm pronouncing that right. These very well fortified areas close to Donetsk city that have been shelling that city and killing many civilians. Well, the Russian military has really stepped up their efforts to destroy those fortified positions. And the Russian military has also increased their activity around Dnipropetrovsk as well, and Mykolaiv, and even Odessa to a certain extent. And I think all of this activity has led to my clown world. All of this Russian military activity in the south of Ukraine and in Donetsk has really, it seems like it's done quite a bit of damage to the Ukraine counteroffensive plan. And this is kind of my clown world. So I just want to think, do I have any other stories that I want to get to before I segue into this? There are, real quick, there is the news that a HIMARS has been either bought or captured by the Russian military, and now they're examining the HIMARS wonder weapon. And this is actually I don't want to say it's been 100% confirmed, but we're starting to get a lot of news sources that are saying the Russian military does indeed have a HIMARS system. And they're not saying exactly how they got hold of the HIMARS. They're saying, some people are saying they captured it. Other people are saying they bought it. I think they bought it. I would put a lot of money on the fact that this was sold to the Russians. I mean, you're dealing with Ukraine, one of the most corrupt countries in Europe, and the most corrupt country, and one of the most corrupt countries in the world, and the most corrupt country in Europe. So are you telling me that you're not going to have people who have these HIMARS and they're not going to contact their Russian buddies and say, look, Bidenopolis just delivered a nice HIMARS to us. How much you want to pay for it? Of course they sold it. That's if this turns out to be true. Like I'm saying, it's not 100% confirmed. But if this is indeed the case and the Russians do have the HIMARS system, well, they're looking through it. They're examining it, reverse engineering the thing. And there's a lot of news confirming the fact that the Russian military does indeed have one of these HIMAR wonder weapons. And so with that being said, let's go back to my clown world. The Russians have really ticked up their military activity in Nikolaev, in Odessa, in the south corridor of Ukraine, as well as Donetsk. You got to remember, when it's Lugansk or Donetsk, Lugansk is the north, Donetsk is sitting more south. And this uptick in military activity, I believe, has led Ukraine, and this is my clown world, it has led Ukraine defense minister to an interesting admission. It's a real interesting admission. There will be no counteroffensive on Kherson yet, according to the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Reznikov. Ukraine Defense Minister Reznikov denied his own words in an interview with the British Times, The Times, about the preparation of a counteroffensive in the south. Now, in an interview with the Ukrainian service of the BBC, Reznikov said, let's just say, and there's a quote, let's just say there was a bit of misunderstanding. I was misunderstood. I didn't say that we are gathering a 1 million-strong army for a counterattack on Kherson. Forgive my English. It's not my native language. Earlier, Zelensky refused to comment on Reznikov's words about alleged plans to recapture Kherson. So they're walking it back. They're walking the whole 1 million-man army, massive counteroffensive in the south of Ukraine. It is all being walked back. And what's the excuse? My English. You guys misunderstood my English. That is the excuse that they are using. Oh, boy. Yeah. So, it was good for the media for a couple of weeks. A 1 million-man Ukraine army, a massive counteroffensive. Give them another $9 billion because they need $9 billion now to fill their budget holes. Biden sent them another $1.7 billion. Send them 4 more HIMARS, even though the Russians are capturing or have bought one of those HIMARS. And, all of this is being done in preparation for this 1 million-man counteroffensive. But along comes the Ukraine defense minister, and he says, just chalk it up to bad English. So, as the Russians say, so, that's it. Just bad English. That's it. Did I say 1 million? I actually meant to say 1,000. Did I say counteroffensive? I said, a small little counter skirmish is what I really meant. Oh, that's my cloud world. I've actually, I think I have 2 more cloud worlds. Why not? One of the cloud worlds is from Chris Cuomo. So I did a cloud world where Chris Cuomo was reporting from Ukraine. He was on the front lines as an independent #free agent reporter. And supposedly he was in Kiev. And he posted Instagram videos. Well, I said after that clown world, I said, I don't know. Is he really in Kiev? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was. I don't know. But I just said, knowing Chris Cuomo, it wouldn't shock me if he wasn't really in Kiev reporting. And sure enough, the Daily Mail runs an article yesterday where they say that Chris Cuomo was spotted in the Hamptons a day after he appeared to be reporting live from Ukraine. And the Daily Mail says, that was fast. Fired CNN anchor Chris Cuomo is spotted in the Hamptons one day after his rebrand and Instagram dispatch from Ukraine's Eastern Front. That was fast. Now look, maybe that video was taken a couple of weeks earlier and he decided to post it on Instagram, the other day. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he jumped on a private jet or something. Let's walk this way. Maybe he jumped on a private jet and he said, you know what? I need to get back to the Hamptons in 24 hours. I don't know. It's possible that he got back within 24 hours, but I don't know. Anyway, what do you think in the comments down below? Was he really in Kiev? Was it an old video and he just decided to post it to to get some likes and some clicks. Or was he really there? Or was he BSing the whole thing? Was the whole thing just a BS? Anyway, that's the one additional clown world. And I've got one more really quick clown world, and that is that the Democrats, the U.S. House Democrats, they are passing a measure to identify neo-Nazis in the military and in law enforcement. This is coming from the Epoch Times. It says House Democrats on July 13th voted to add an amendment to the National Defense Administration Act, the NDAA, the annual military spending bill, to identify neo-Nazis in the military and law enforcement. The NDAA amendment was sponsored by Representatives Brad Schneider and instructs the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, to publish a report analyzing white supremacists and neo-Nazi activity within military and law enforcement. The amendment passed in a 218 to 208 vote, where it faced unilateral opposition from Republicans. Quote, such behavior, such extremism is a threat to us in all segments of society. There is no reason to believe that our military is any different, Schneider said on the House floor late on the evening on July 13 in defense of the amendment. There are exceptions, Schneider said. There are rare, but we must do everything we can to identify them and to thwart them before risks become reality. If the amendment is passed by the Senate, the FBI, DHS, and DOD would be required within 180 days to send Congress a report on the number of people discharged from either military service or law enforcement for white supremacist or neo-Nazi ideology. Now, I am sure you are asking, why is this a clown world, Alex? Why is this a clown world? Well, to me, it's a clown world because while you're passing legislation like this, you know, you have supposedly there's a white supremacist or a Nazi problem in the neo-Nazi problem in the U.S. military or in law enforcement. Congress is dishing out $60 billion to the Azov Battalion and to Alensky and to the Right Sector and to the Adar Battalion and all of these openly admitted, factually revealed Nazi groups, organizations, and military forces. So we're gonna try to hunt down imaginary neo-Nazis and white supremacists in the United States, while at the same time giving tens of billions of American taxpayer money to real, tattooed up, Bandera shirt wearing Nazis in Ukraine. So there you have it. That is the clown world. I will end it there. I just thought that was kind of interesting and a bit ironic. And since this video is on Rumble, on BitChute, on Odyssey, on theduran.locals.com, and on Telegram, I can kind of talk about these things, where on YouTube I would not be able to really cover a story like this as a Clown World segment. So that is the video, everybody. Check out Alexander's channel. Check out the Duran's channel as well. And I just named all of the platforms that I am on while I am banned from YT for medical misinformation, because I always would make videos where I would give medical advice. That was my that was the main gist of my channel. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. Take care.